And welcome to another episode of the Bandit Room. My name is Charles, and I'm joined here by Aggie in the studio, as well as Caleb, and special guest, Miss Aubrey. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me again.
All right. Awesome. Well, we've gone several episodes in a row by mentioning Top Gun Maverick.
I think every episode.
I'm pretty
sure every single episode.
We might be consistently considered to be a Top Gun podcast at this point.
Hey, we need to get a cut out of that.
It's
$1 billion revenue they got. We've been promoting them.
I think we may be, we'll see what happens, but we may be concluding those conversations today because we got three folks in the studio who've all seen the movie, here to talk about it a little bit, as well as some other stuff going on.
I know we've talked a little bit about your flying stuff, but I wanted to circle back. The big reason why you're into this movie, right, is because, or we're excited about it, is because you're into flying and you're getting your license and stuff, right?
Right.
Had you seen the first? Was the first one influential for you? Had you seen it before, or
Yeah, I've seen the first many times. Remember, I used to work on cruise ships, so in our crew channel on the TVs that we had in our cabins, they would just play the same movie on a loop. So every time you walked into the cabin, it's the same movie that's playing until they change that. So yeah, I've seen that movie many times, but I don't think that was influential in any way. Just like I watched Cocktail, then made me think, "Ooh, I should go become a bartender somewhere."
Right. Well, it was also your first experience back in a theater in
like 7 years.
Yeah. How was that?
I was not very impressed with that movie theater that I was in. The last memory of me being in a movie theater was like the screen was like huge. I don't know what the size they are like. So you had literally, if you was in the first 5 rows, you'd have to turn left, right to watch the whole thing.
Right.
This just looked like someone's man cave. They just happened to have a big screen. So yeah, I was not impressed with the movie theater as such, but yeah, it still was good too. Because the last movie, I can't remember which one was it that I saw in the theater, but the theater was like, there was like 10 people there. This was almost, I think this was like a full house. I think every seat was taken.
Wow, really?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Wow, because I saw it like opening weekend, and it was a relatively busy theater, but it was not like full house. So
Same. I saw it with like 10 other people.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, people like to watch movies with me, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah.
Aggie bought out the theater.
We should do that. Take the whole team out there.
You can do that.
You can.
Team building. Yes.
Let's do it.
Okay.
Well, you'd say your interest in aviation overall.
Oh yeah, I like
huge
everything.
Influence on
Everything aviation, everything flying, everything fast. But none of the movies has been motivational thing for me to do anything. Maybe Sideways made me drink more red wine. But
what if there was a Sideways for bourbon?
Yeah,
that would be.
That might be interesting. I'm pretty sure there's some movie there.
You did like an
aerobatic thing, yeah.
Aerobatic
Sean
thing.
Tucker.
Yeah. How was that?
Yeah.
Like, because there's a lot of aerobatics in this movie and like flipping and.
When we did that, I mean, I pulled 7 or 8 Gs, but no one was trying to shoot us down, so I didn't have to look behind me. No, it's not for everyone, for sure. And I didn't really have an idea what was coming. And Sean Tucker is like the world's leading aerobatic pilot, and he has his own school. He teaches people how to do aerobatics. He was fantastic. He was a great guy, and do a bit of aerobatic. And then he let me fly his plane. That was even cool. So
nice.
It was fantastic.
So when they're talking about like pulling 8, 9, 10 Gs in the movie,
yeah, you
like,
feel it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not a joke. I don't think we pulled that much, but it's not a joke. It's a lot of fun.
Would you say that was the fastest plane you've ever?
Well, the fastest plane would be one of the commercial planes
to
to fly.
What have you flown? What
No, that's
plane that you technically.
I don't think those planes are. I don't think it's designed to fly fast. The ones that I was. It's more designed to do the aerobatic, and they have control over it and all that stuff. They're meant to take the Gs and all the stuff.
Overall, then the movie.
Uh-huh.
What did you think? And then we'll go to Aubrey after that.
I think the movie was great. I get bored, or I get distracted very easily, so I get bored very easily. So my movies like this, I'm worried about, since there's really no storyline. I mean, there's some storyline, but really nothing is like connected. I was like, well, there's going to be some cheesy scenes here. And I see movies where somebody's standing there and yelling at the other person to motivate them. I was like, how would someone get motivated on that? And I see it's like that. I'd be like, But they did have a couple of like that, but there was not too long. There was pretty quick scene, so we moved on.
I think about that with any kind of battle scene where there's like one guy like charging up a crowd or whatever. It's like only the first couple of rows hurt anything. You know what I mean?
Like Braveheart.
Yeah, that's literally what I immediately thought of.
And like the guy in the back, like, what the heck's he saying? I don't know. I guess I'll die.
No, I mean, starting of the movie, Tom Cruise said, we went on, filmed this on real airplanes and all that stuff, which is cool. But I don't think them flying through under the bridge was really done. I think that's CG. I don't think.
Oh, yeah, there's the one scene, especially you can see in the trailer, where they like go sideways through
Yeah.
a bridge in the canyon.
Yeah, I don't think that's under the bridge.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not real.
Yeah, so that was probably added CG, but
Yeah.
they did apparently get special clearance for some of the low flying stuff, and like the canyon that they train in is like an actual canyon that they train in as Top Gun pilots.
Okay.
And they were like literally like 50 or 100 feet off the ground as
That's
they were.
cool. Yeah,
so,
that's pretty cool.
but the bridge was probably not real. Yeah,
I don't think so.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, did that ruin it? Is your take different now?
I was.
You're like, I was for it, but now it's just a bunch of jokes.
I was like, it's so real. They're so impressive.
Yeah, I mean,
It's not CGI. Well, it's really good then if I didn't know.
right. Yeah.
I mean, you got to think about that, going that fast, and the boom it creates, going under the bridge between those columns, that will destroy the bridge.
Yeah, like the start of the movie when the plane takes off the Dark Star or whatever and goes over the general.
Yeah.
That was real, and it literally like blew the roof off of the building that they had there. That was so they only got one take.
So that was
was
real?
real.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Well,
That's why I was so fooled.
I enjoyed it. I thoroughly enjoyed the whole movie. James was sitting next to me, and I said, James, you're 56. You got 3 years to look like Tom Cruise playing beach volleyball. Because I didn't realize that Tom Cruise was 59 years old. Or he's 59. I don't know if that was CGI, but
well, they filmed it in like 2019.
Yeah, it was a while
So-
ago.
okay.
So he was actually, he was James' age
a young-
when they filmed
Yeah.
it. What did you think, Aubrey?
Yeah, I loved it. I'm shocked that you think there was no storyline.
Well,
I thought it was a great storyline. Dead best friend, son, they're fighting, they get separated, they come back together.
When I say
You cried. You didn't
storyline,
cry. Like a tear didn't fall from your eye when.
you cried movies?
Yeah, I cried. What? Yes,
Oh,
that was so good.
I don't know about that.
It was so emotional. Did you cry at the end, or did you want to cry? Like, did you have a strong feeling, Caleb, when you when at the end when?
I didn't think this movie was particularly emotional. No, I have cried in movies, but not this one.
Okay.
Well, okay,
That's fine.
what movie was it that made you cry?
The last one, let's see. Waves that came out a few years ago, and it's a drama about this high school kid who like makes a bunch of really poor decisions and like everything's sort of going wrong in his life. That made me cry. It was a very heavy movie. Top Gun does not make me cry. Sorry.
Aubrey.
That's fine.
How?
It is.
There's difference, I think, maybe in the genders here. I think it's probably
Yes.
you could probably, I don't know. I'm sure I've cried in a movie, but it's like slim. I can't even think of one actually.
Oh,
But I've cried in the theater. I've seen plays that made me cry, but that's
Interesting.
has more of a.
Is it because
visceral
there's
grip.
real people like
I think it's
in
just an
front
overall.
of
It's
you?
just an effect. It's just like goosebumps or something for me. Like it's like I don't know. There's like, whoa, this is a powerful moment, and I feel it. You know.
Like when I say storyline, keeping with that Tom Cruise here, A Few Good Men, that movie had a strong storyline all the way from start to end. With Top Gun, I could have turned around and be talking to someone for 5 minutes. I turned back around, watched the movie, and I don't think I missed any plot in there.
Sure. It's a
just
fun
that-
movie.
Yes.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. No, I see.
Because in movies like that, what's the other movie that I'm trying? Dustin Hoffman and someone. It's based on this.
Rain Man.
No. He's a lawyer. It's based in New Orleans.
Runaway Jury.
Yeah. See that
I
movie
haven't
from
seen
start
that.
to end. You the first time I watched that movie, I had to leave. I had to get back to the airport, and I couldn't watch the ending. And I waited for like almost a year to watch the ending to actually what happened.
So you're saying legal movies have a
Yeah,
lot
I mean
of
like a strong. I just because that's a storyline and the dialogues and the acting kind of keeps you on watching. You don't want to look away.
it all matters.
Correct. Right.
Yeah.
I think I just went into Top Gun with really low expectations. So when there was like some touching moments, apparently that only I felt, were it was like it exceeded my expectations.
What was it? Why did you have low expectation going in? Are you not a fan of Tom Cruise?
He's okay. I mean, he's not my favorite actor by any means.
Okay.
And the original Top Gun was good, but I wouldn't say it's in my favorite movie genre. But I figure, I mean, most sequels of iconic movies do not go well. And I would say this was better than the original. So even that in itself was a shock and blew my expectations.
So let me add one on that. Is Tom Cruise not your favorite actor as an actor, or you add him as an actor and a person and it's like, I don't like this guy?
Both.
It's weird how it goes like that sometimes, because like there's certain people you might not be crazy about, but you can still watch them.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I can do that.
His acting doesn't cover his personal life for me. So.
See, I don't really care much about their personal life. If they are out and about dictating stuff to others, then I probably have a view about them. But if they're just going about living their own life, whatever, wherever they live, whatever they do, if they're not forcing it on someone else, it doesn't really matter to me at all. I'm pretty sure most actors are not the greatest people, but
right.
Yeah.
Right. Charles, as an actor.
They're pretty horrible people. You don't want to be around them. No, they're. I don't want to make this into an actor. I don't want to make this into I know that's why.
So, are we expanding on why she doesn't like Tom Cruise?
Do we want to?
I think we're getting there.
Come back to it.
Because I'll tell you what, in Asia and India and all, Tom Cruise, Michael Jackson, they're like like massive stars. Like,
even Michael Jackson still?
Oh, Michael Jackson is like, even now people talk about him all the time.
That's a really good example of somebody who can you enjoy their stuff?
Oh yeah,
Yeah, I don't think they're really focused on his personal life. I mean, I don't think they gross $1 million just in US. That's worldwide, right?
Right.
I mean, that movie is gonna run like forever in there. Anyway, go ahead, Charles. Actor Charles.
Yeah.
What's your stage name?
It's Charles. It's funny if I brought up something new. It's like what? Yeah, I also go by Vincent McGilligan.
So if you had to have a stage name, what would it be?
Vincent McGilligan.
Yeah.
It's like harder to remember than your current name.
Was that a name that you just came up with on the fly?
Came
or
up with
okay.
I feel like somebody named Vincent McGilligan would come up with Charles Hardy as a name.
If Vincent McGilligan's out there, I'm sorry.
Have you ever actually done an audition for like a proper movie?
No, I've never done a movie audition. No. Nope. So that's just, I don't know. Hasn't really presented itself as an opportunity. I don't know. You have to really, if you decide you want to be a movie actor, you've got to just pursue it. You got to move out to California. You got to move to New York or somewhere where they're actively casting that kind of stuff. Otherwise, you're, living in a place like South Carolina, you can't do setting yourself up for disappointment. No, I think so much of it is.
Have you ever been an extra in a TV show?
Also, no. So,
have you,
to the audience, I'm
How
not
about
really.
You, Aubrey?
I haven't, but there was The Place Beyond the Pines with Ryan Gosling was shot in New York, and they used a house the street over from my house. So you could go and watch, like everyone got papers sent out in the mail, like we're shooting at this time, like don't do this, don't do that. So me and my siblings would walk over and try and see them. And I have pictures of Ryan Gosling and Eva Mendes outside of their trailer.
Nice. That's cool.
And me being like, just waving. But no, I haven't. I tried, but.
My closest brush was when they were filming Hunger Games around Charlotte. You have to have a lot of like headshots and like other information that you have to bring, and we didn't know. So we showed up at this big casting call at the mall or something. We didn't have any of the stuff that we needed, so it didn't work out. But
it didn't work out too well.
Yeah. I knew quite a few people because they shot in a high school, and so they had kids from like the local high school down the street from us.
Yeah, I knew a lot of people who were in when they shot the movie Walk the Line. I was living near Memphis at the time, and a bunch of my theater friends, I was just getting into theater, all got like extra bits and stuff like that. And some guy I was in a play with was like, I was the guy walking behind the woman. Nothing too major, but it's fun when that
I was an extra in a TV series. This is years ago in India, and my brother's friend he's a music producer, and they were filming a wedding reception scene, and they needed all these people to come, hang around in the reception. So my brother told one of my friend, and he said, okay, we'll go. So we took a bus and we went there. It was like pretty far away. And it was like a reception hall. It was for a TV show nobody had heard about. I don't think it was ever came out. But anyway, so it was all like everybody was given position where he had to be in. When they said action, he had to like talk, like as if you're reception. But it was just a one camera shoot, and every guy who worked for the unit brought some people in, and they wanted to make sure that their friends are in the shot. So they say cut and then move, and then the guy who brought us, he will move us to the front of the scene, and then they'll go, there's no continuity. What happened? Who's this guy? And they had a display of food, real food, and then in between takes, people start eating of the food. I mean, they're like, what are you guys doing? So then they came and sprayed some chemical on it so nobody would eat it. So stupid.
So like, so what you're saying is when they went and edited all this together, there's food moving, there's people moving, nothing matches.
No, it was chaotic. I mean, it went on, the takes went on and on and on, and it was a long, long day. It was just halfway through, most people started leaving. And we all left. We didn't finish the scene. We didn't get paid.
Well, yeah.
So we just left. So that was my only experience. But it's so time consuming, man. They just same take like again and again and again. Do you remember when we were in downtown office? They were filming a commercial.
Yeah.
The guy and the girl and the little kid like walking down the street.
The same thing.
The same thing. All day long.
It was like right outside the building we were in, and we had the windows open.
Yeah.
It was like a pleasant time of year.
Right.
And like we kept hearing the same line.
Same line.
Like, mommy.
Yeah, it was the same line, and they filmed the same scene like all day long. It was just for like a public announcement. It was like I don't even know. It was not a proper TV commercial.
Like maybe a state-sponsored commercial or something.
That whole thing is a scam. You know that, right?
Commercials?
No.
They're just trying to sell you stuff.
They have allocated funds they have to use, so they just film the same scene all day. But after they left, what we did was we used all the barricades and everything to film our dance sequence. Remember?
That's right.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah?
Right on the street.
Lungi dance.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Deep cut to...
Yeah, we did do that.
Need to get into doing more music videos.
Yeah.
Maybe some Michael Jackson.
Thriller on the span.
So what we did was, Aubrey, we filmed there on the streets, just out of the blue, like quick thought idea, and then everyone danced and we filmed it, put it together, and then we sent it to our India team, and we challenged them to beat our dance video.
Yeah.
And the team from Chennai kicked us out of the park like immediately. And then the team from Coimbatore, oh my God, they like went to a location and did all this dances, and there was like guys dancing on motorcycles, and
we just like shot ours in like an afternoon. Right. They were like, let's set up like 30 locations and shoot them all over a month or something like that.
There was no competition. We were like out of the three, we were the last one.
Oh.
I think we should do this again.
Should bring it back.
I have ideas.
Dance off, dance off.
Oh,
did you want to talk about the watches?
Oh, yeah.
Because you're not only an aviation enthusiast, but you're also a big fan of watches. And
that is correct.
Certain watches were kind of prominent, almost to the point of product placement.
There was a lot of
Were they?
awesome.
I didn't notice either.
You didn't notice that?
No.
I was too busy crying.
That movie is full of product placement. I mean, for example, if you see the Ford Bronco scene, how the camera moves right from the floor up, who's walking to the car? I think it's Tom Cruise. Someone walking towards the Ford Bronco, and then the camera just moves and shows the logo, and then turns around and shows it from the side there. Beautiful product placement. Yeah. And then when the guy who has a stopwatch, remember when he pushes the stop, it's an IWC watch, So, and all the pilots are wearing the big pilot, the Top Gun IWC watch. So,
when did you get into watches? We can do a deeper dive episode, but
when I was able to afford them, yeah.
What about watches is interesting to you? Like what?
I mean, I love Swiss watches. I love automatic watches. It's the effort and the way it is made. We can talk about that. We can talk about that in detail, yeah.
The original film, there's the volleyball scene that's very famous. In this one, there's like a flag football, football on the beach. Apparently in that scene, Tom Cruise is wearing the same, like the original Top Gun watch that he had in the first movie. The producer, Jerry Bruckheimer, he wears it apparently like every day. And he just like took it off, handed it to Tom Cruise. They filmed the scene and they took it back and put it back.
Well, that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool, yeah.
Do you want to get into ratings?
Yeah, that was going to be my last thing. Thought it'd be fun for everybody to give a rating of the movie. Overall, what was your how many bandits out of 10 would you give the movie?
I'd probably give it about 6.5.
6. Wow. Okay.
Would you go higher, Aubrey?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. How high?
It was like 8.25 bandits for me. Yeah.
Caleb.
It was good.
Probably like 7, maybe 7.5.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
No one has answered me this question. Where did that love interest come from? I know it's been 30 years from the last movie.
I also didn't know.
And he's not aged. He's still But apparently this lady, where did she come from? What happened? How did they hook up? Like, what's going on?
I sort of took it as like, there's no way Tom Cruise, after the first Top Gun, is going to stay with Kelly McGinnis. Like,
no.
You know, he's not that kind of person in that movie. And so he's probably had many love interests over the years. So it was like, oh, here's his latest one.
Since this movie
they just invented one for the sake of having
Yeah, like
history.
she's like the owner of the bar by base, and they have it. I don't know. She throws him out the first time she sees him, and then they end up together. So,
Yeah.
So since the movie is based in 2022, do you think they got to know each other from like a dating app?
It sounded like they had
seem
history.
to have history. They seem to have history.
So maybe.
Yeah.
So anyway, storyline like that, Aubrey.
Yeah, like
couple of bandits
random
away.
love
gaps.
interest. Yeah.
Couple gaps.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay, that's fair. You know, that's fair.
The casting.
Yes.
I don't believe John Hamm was the right person for that role.
Okay, why?
I don't know. It just didn't have that gravity of that position.
John Hamm's
that he
perfect
was
for
in.
any role.
Right.
Yeah, but I don't
Yeah.
think that role. It couldn't feel the depthness of that role as a senior or supervisor, whatever his role was, colonel, whatever.
That's fair. I feel like John Hamm is either like really, really incredible, like leading role, or he's sort of that generic tough guy who kind of just irritates the protagonist. Like I feel like he does that a lot. And so for me, this was just sort of like another one of those roles for him. I was like, I get it, but what do you think?
No, I would agree with that, because I mean, in Mad Men, he's so good. I'm trying to think of what other role. You're right, he's either like he's guy, or he's
the
just
voice of
kind
Mercedes.
or he's kind of forgettable. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, he's forgettable. And I was like,
But I see what you mean by he didn't command
No, for that.
the
Right.
attention.
So
Like,
what's his title for that? So it's like the colonel or something. If you're putting him to be debating and disputing with the main
Yeah.
character, you got to be a stronger personality than that. It was not.
yeah. I didn't feel like Tom Cruise needed to listen to him.
That's right.
Yeah.
yeah.
I get that.
Jerry Bruckheimer need to check with me next time before he starts casting people.
So Top Gun's been out for a month now. It's made over $1 billion, which I think it's the first movie this year that's done that.
Yes.
And it was #1 at the box office for that whole time until this last weekend when a movie called Elvis came out. We've talked about this before. It finally beat out Top Gun after a month,
Yeah.
which is kind of unheard of for movies to stay that long at the top of the box office. So I thought we might just talk a little bit. I haven't seen it yet, I know, but Aubrey and Charles have. Aggie's, you're thinking
I'm
about
planning
seeing
to
it?
see it this weekend. Yes.
Yeah, you gotta.
Yeah.
So what were your impressions, guys?
It's good. I mean, I think Austin Butler did a great job. He did a really good.
Yeah, I saw
He-
the preview.
Portrayal
Oh my
of
god, he
Elvis.
looks like him. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, both in like the voice, the mannerisms. Did a really good job.
So who's this actor?
He's a new actor, Austin
Okay.
Butler. I don't think he's done
He's-
anything.
He was in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Like that's
was it? What did he do in that?
He was Rex. He worked on The Ranch.
Oh,
Brad Pitt's the guy
He's
who
the
just
guy
like
who punched-
punches him right in the face. Yeah.
oh, that's.
And he comes to kill them at the end, and the flamethrower. Yeah. That the dog gets him, I think.
Oh, okay.
What was your take?
Yeah. Overall, pretty good. Pretty
Okay.
good. I mean, I don't. Yeah. Like I said, I think so much of it was Austin Butler's performance. I liked being able to see certain aspects of Elvis's life that haven't really been captured a whole lot before. So it was a different take on Elvis, and I appreciated that.
Yeah.
Did you also enjoy the film?
Oh yeah, I loved it.
Yeah.
I give it 10 bandits out of
10
bandits.
Bandits.
Whoa.
10 Bandits. A perfect film.
But I can't. Yes.
Okay.
For me.
Did you cry?
No.
Oh, okay. You cry in Top Gun, it gets a lower rating.
I
You didn't cry in Elvis, it gets a
I
perfect rating.
Do you go prepared with like
I was just happy
tissues
to be
and stuff
Elvis.
because you're gonna cry in this movie?
Oh, no.
Or do you openly cry? Like people who go to the movies with you, do you openly cry?
It's
or do you
silent.
And she cried when it was over because it was so perfect.
It's silent. Yeah, if anything, it would have been happy tears after Elvis.
I'm looking forward to watching that movie.
It's really good.
Yeah.
How was Tom Hanks?
Yeah, that's what it's my. That was
Tom
my,
Hanks, you know,
Wait, I might subtract a Bandit for Tom.
you know, I mean, I think it's just a weird move to make the Colonel such a big part of the movie. I mean, in some respects, it's helpful to show the audience that there was this weird force in Elvis's life, the Colonel. So for listeners, the Colonel is a character who kind of was Elvis's manager for the later half of his career. He's the narrator the whole thing.
Yeah.
This is good, goofy old voice where he's a Dutch immigrant to America who's more than likely an illegal alien who came here and just started like working in carnivals and stuff. So he's got this goofy voice that he does the whole time.
So is Trump going to come out and say, I don't know that guy?
I don't know that guy. He probably really liked the guy, honestly. Like, this is my kind of guy. I love this movie. He sees an opportunity, he goes and gets it. He's got a great voice.
But are you giving out too much information about the movie for the people who haven't seen it?
Oh, it's not as.
I mean,
well,
this
if
is
you
more
don't know
just
about
backstory
Elvis's
to
life,
Elvis's life, yeah. But
yeah.
But is that Colonel character based on a real person?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Colonel Tom
it's all
Parker. He
real.
was never really a colonel. He was just
It was
went
a
by the
fake
title
name.
because he's like
Gotcha.
just a total, weird circus
Wheeler
sleaze
dealer,
guy.
like
Yeah.
fake.
And
Yeah.
he embraces it. I mean, he calls himself, the snowman so often because he's out to.
All right. So we will have to pick it up on the next episode after all four of us have seen it.
Yeah.
crap, I have
See
to
what
see it now.
happens.
You have to go. What beef do you have with Elvis?
So I associate my grandma was the biggest Elvis fan of all time.
Okay.
And so I just associate Elvis with my grandma, and like he's not like a cool person to me. He's like the person that my grandma likes, which is fine. My grandma was great, but it's just not like in my head like, oh, I need to see about Elvis. It's like,
Okay.
but that's me.
Is it because he was a big star before your time?
Well, I mean, that's why she
Just
liked
like
it.
you have no respect for history. You don't like Hitchcock. You don't
No,
like
I hate-
Elvis.
I hate all history.
You just hate
Everyone who lived in the
everything
past.
before your time.
Yeah. Typical, Gen X.
I like Elvis.
Yeah.
I like his music.
Where did you first encounter Elvis?
I think we talked about it on
We
the
did.
previous episode. So
Yeah.
go back and listen to
I'll
it.
go back and check it
Oh.
out.
Add
I
one more
should've
view
listened.
to it.
I'll add another view.
And I think he was a great entertainer.
It's amazing.
He was, yeah. I guess my thing is like they focus a lot on a lot of the black artists of the time that he was influenced by and really just kind of recycled most of their songs for a much larger audience. Things like, people like Big Mama Thornton who wrote Hound Dog. I like that they featured her in the movie. That's
Yeah.
really cool. But it just kind of highlights the more of like what Elvis didn't really do in his life. Like because they show him borrowing from all these great artists of the time, Big Mama Thornton, Little Richard, Fats Domino, people like that. And then they simultaneously show all of the civil rights action that's happening at the same time.
Yeah.
Martin Luther King getting assassinated,
Yeah.
Kennedy assassinated, things like this, all the sort of civil turmoil that's happening in America. And Elvis didn't really do anything to address it. I mean, he heavily influenced by them. I'm sure he would consider them to be, the kind of artists that he looked up to.
Yeah.
But at the same time, publicly, he didn't really do anything to move the needle or decide to just do a show with them or do a song together with them or something like that to really
Yeah.
kind of push the needle on civil rights and not entirely to blame Elvis for that. I do think the Colonel was a big influence on kind of pushing his image as this like all-American good boy kind of thing, and that probably affected it. Leaves me feeling just a little bit disappointed in Elvis, like the whole thing of seeing all of that and seeing the Colonel, especially the later part of his career when he's just kind of performing in Vegas for the Colonel, just kind of highlights like a certain lack of backbone maybe that Elvis had.
Okay.
Interesting. All right.
Anyway.
Well, I'll
Sorry,
go back.
yeah,
and
we can
think
pick
about
it up. We can
Yep.
pick it up.
Pick it up. If you're a trucker and you own a truck that weighs 55,000 pounds or more, we're here to let you know that it's time to file your Form 2290 again. Thankfully, Express Truck Tax is here to make e-filing easy with a free VIN checker, a scan for common errors, and 100% US-based customer support. So go to expresstrucktax.com now to file your 2022-23 Form 2290. the other reason we had Aubrey back, we wanted to last time we talked about a lot of Hollywood scandals and things, especially Johnny Depp recently. So if you haven't listened to that, go back and listen. But what we wanted to talk about was the Tom Cruise Scientology connection, because as I've been doing research and we've been talking about this, there's a lot of weird stuff that goes on and a lot of like scandal and strangeness. So we wanted to have Aubrey back to sort of talk about that in connection with Top Gun and Tom Cruise. So what's kind of their main deal for Scientology?
It's a cult. No, it's weird because it is categorized as a religion, but they don't really do anything. Like their main belief is that your body is called thetan, which is like your true identity, and you're good and you're not a material person, and you can rise above like your body, and you're capable of all creativity, and the way you reach that is by getting audited by an auditor, and you go over all the past lives you've lived and the current lives you've lived and all the trauma you've experienced, and then you transcend it all, and then you are
so basically
giving money to the church and doing bad things. It's almost like these courses that you pay money for that are sort of pseudo-psychology in this kind of, but they don't believe in psychology.
Well, yeah, but I mean that's the basis of it is like dealing with your trauma to become sort of a better person and your best self,
transcend.
And transcend. So that's sort of the deal, I guess.
And that's about it for the religion part. But Tom Cruise, big supporter.
Well, that's I grew up in a very religious house. My parents are still very religious, and I grew up in but I'm not a believer. Every religion has something. When you look at it from outside, it's like so weird. Like, what are you talking about? Whether they go to a church or mosque or temple, people give money to that institution or whatever you want to call it. From my perspective, without offending anybody here, they all are telling you something which there's no proof for it. If they are saying we can talk about your previous life or new life, and if pretty much every religion is telling you something about their past life or where they're gonna go and where they're gonna go party after they die and all that stuff, So I don't know. I mean, I don't think we should. If someone belongs to any religion or any sect of religion, any group or cult, whatever you want to call it, if that makes them happy, by all means, as long as they're not coming and pushing that on you, I can't make that person a bad person.
Well, I get what you're saying, but for science, like the main gripe with Tom Cruise is the current head of Scientology was the best man in his most recent wedding, and he has a lawsuit against him as recent as April 2022 for child abuse, human trafficking, and multiple other things. So it's not that they just makes them happy, like they're actively
right. But that's saying like the Catholic priests have molested more kids than anybody else in this universe. I mean, they should all be banned. I mean, that's what we're talking about,
right?
And so we only know that thousands of kids were molested by these priests. We don't even know about all the other ones they hid and buried and paid off or whatever.
That's true, but you could still say, like, well, in defense of the Catholic Church, most Catholics would say that's not what our religion teaches. These people were off doing their own thing. Whereas if this is the head of Scientology, then this is very much
but
like
is a priest is also head of that church.
Well, no, I mean, that priest is a head of a church, but like you're not. I mean, okay.
This is a worldwide organization.
You can look at the wide swath of the people who say they believe the same way,
right?
And even the priests themselves would say, "No, I messed up." I mean, like, so I did not have the.
If they were able to hide all the stuff from a church from Boston, for example, imagine the power they have and how many things they have hidden from the public, based in Vatican. It's their own little country. They control everything there. How do you know that does not happen over there?
The man's wife hasn't been seen since 2007.
Literally. You're referring to the Scientology.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. It's like, I haven't seen the Pope's wife in a long time.
Hundreds of years.
Hundreds and hundreds. Ever, really.
Keep those wives.
No, the wife. The Scientologist
I mean,
wife.
it sounds
Literally
like a joke, but
she's
every
like
time
dead somewhere.
I was in Charleston.
Sorry, they might come for me for that. She's probably alive.
That is true. I think those are valid points in terms of overall in Scientology, like, all religions have problems, and I agree with you on that. I think maybe what we were talking about originally was like, you know, we were talking about the scandal with Johnny Depp, and like allegedly he did all these things, right? But you know, here's Tom Cruise, who is best friends with this guy, but I mean literally like very, very close with this guy who some
he's
things
done
going
some
on
stuff,
and nobody's talking about it,
Yeah.
and his movie's like #1 in the world, and so it's like, I guess, you know, less from a standpoint of like specifically this religion and more just,
But that
you
is
know,
yeah, like who decides the moral compass? That
right. But that is his career. That's his product that he put out there. If you are against his religious beliefs, then you should not spend any money on his product. I'm friends with people from, and I do business with people from totally different political views and beliefs, which if I think about it, it's mind-blowing that how am I even talking to this freaking guy? What he thinks about what life is all about is completely opposite of what I think. But as long as he's not sitting there preaching to me like, we're going to do business together, but because of my religious belief, I'll walk away. I'm not going to do it.
I think, this is less for me about like, if I met a Scientologist on the street, I could be friends with them. I could have a conversation. It's more just like Tom Cruise is
the double standard.
Yeah, he's at the top of this organization. He's got really close ties with somebody who we know, or allegedly has done a lot of things, and so just the fact that nobody's talking about that is.
Yeah, I don't think it's as much about religion in that case as maybe the susceptibility of corruption when somebody is given as much an extreme amount of power, if you will. I mean, power is not the greatest word for that, but when someone is endowed with a certain amount of influence over a large swath of people, I mean, I think the tendency to abuse it is going to be very high.
What's the name of the guy from Texas? From the guy has the mega church pastor guy.
Osteen.
Osteen, yeah. What happened recently when there was a flood or something? The first thing he did was close his church, not open it. Lock the church, not open the church for people to help.
Right.
You're all about helping. No, you didn't. That's the first thing. You don't want your carpet to get damaged. And any guy who smiles that much with his eyes closed, you don't trust that guy at all. Oh my God.
Are you talking about Joel Osteen?
Yeah.
Oh.
So what are you going to do? Well, it sounds like, I mean, you were still able to see Top Gun. You watched Top Gun and you enjoyed it as a film.
Oh,
so you didn't like boycott it because of that reason.
No, I was it was just interesting from our last conversation we had that Johnny Depp lost Pirates of the Caribbean and so many movie things for something he allegedly did. But the Church of Scientology has multiple lawsuits against it and has been prosecuted by the FBI, and Tom Cruise is wildly associated. Like, you think Tom Cruise and you're like, associate Scientology with him, and it's just kind of like not mentioned. I don't think he can even talk to his 2 adopted children because they're not in Scientology anymore. So
how do we
I mean, he's fine.
How do we confront this? Like, what would be an ideal way for you to confront this? Obviously, we can't go bring Tom Cruise to the Bandit Room. So what would you do?
Oh, I wouldn't do anything. I'll probably still see Tom Cruise's movies. But for some people, they vote with their money and don't support Amazon or don't support Walmart or whatever. So if you were really some other celebrities who left Scientology have said they won't see that movie or won't support Tom Cruise because it's supporting what he believes in. That's why some people dropped Johnny Depp. Disney was no, we don't support you. Bye bye.
Well, it's the old question of, can you like the art without liking the artist? And I mean, there's all kinds of examples.
If that someone who was in Scientology and not there anymore, and they suddenly woke up, it's like, oh, I'm not a Scientologist anymore. I'm not going to support this movie. But it's not all about Tom Cruise and as a one person for that movie, though. It's probably 5,000 people who worked in that movie.
Oh, yeah.
But so if you're talking about the 5,000 people who worked on the movie, most of them got paid a salary, whatever they got paid to work on it. But Tom Cruise is raking in, 10 or 20% or whatever of the profit.
Right.
So it's a little bit of a different thing than just, the random VFX artist who did a couple shots.
Sure. Yeah.
Right.
I mean, I don't have an answer for it. I'm just saying there's definitely a double standard of what's allowed and what's not.
Yeah. That's true. Yeah.
Or what what we're told we're supposed to care about.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I mean, we can sit and talk one day about my experience for doing at least 8 or 10 charter cruises for mega churches. You'll be blown away with stuff that I've seen and heard and been part of. In fact, we can talk one day where my watch collection interests start from. It's from one of those cruises.
Really?
How much they are into that. It's
interesting. You didn't see the The Eyes of Tammy Faye.
No, I have not.
No, okay. Since we're like living in the area where it all happened, it's
Listen,
interesting.
I've know people who put money in that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And
it's all
they
close
sold
to
us. It was amazing. They will sell the same apartment to 10 people.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
The thought
I'm talking about
process.
PTL and Jim Baker and
Yeah,
Timothy
yeah,
Baker.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
Wow.
I know people who put lost money in that.
I mean, that was like the first megachurch. Like that was his.
Yeah.
He was the first televangelist. Like in the
Well, one of the first. He was an
Yes,
early one.
yeah.
Yeah. Early adopter.
one of the first ones to strike it rich.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
So my neighbor, he's from here. He's 70 years old, and he says, when he goes anywhere and someone says, "Have a blessed day," he goes, "I immediately go check my wallet." And he's a church-going guy, by the way.
Well, yeah. I mean, you can be a church-going person and have a real problem with a lot of the things that go on in certain churches.
Mhm.
So.
That's you,
a-
Charles,
yeah.
right? I'm
Yeah.
in
No,
all
that's-
seriousness, yeah.
No, it is. It's
Yeah.
true. It's me. And I think honestly, people like what you're describing are do more to create more atheists in the world than, than
Yeah.
anything else, than any sort of what you would consider like secular forces. Most of it's just churches not being what the church is supposed to be.
Hey, so talk about some upcoming episodes. You are bringing in people with experts in there.
Yeah, we got a few interesting guests coming up. Next week we've got Mr. Warren Norman's coming on for an episode. Following that, Mr. Adam Ackerman.
What are you guys going to talk about with Warren?
For
What's it?
Warren? Well, I thought we'd have a conversation about your history with him, sort
Right.
of the ongoing
A year
settled
ago.
into our new office here,
Mhm.
and how he was so instrumental in getting Span set up with the first
Yeah.
location that we
Yeah.
had.
We should also talk
Piggybacking
about
on that-
Miracle Park.
Exactly, Miracle Park is his latest endeavor
Yeah.
that we can
That's
talk
a
about that
big-
we're working with him on.
Big undertaking from his side.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's an awesome park for kids with mixed abilities for playing and also a sports facility. Following that, Adam Ackerman talking some finance, talking some economics, 401ks, and
By the way, I had lunch
the
with
market.
him 2 days ago.
Yeah.
And he was making fun of you for your crypto passion.
he.
Crypto is the future.
Oh, okay, there you go. All right, we'll have you on. Yeah. Not a great time for anybody in the market right now. But, yeah, we'll see. I'll be wearing my barrel next time when we talk to him. We'll get some more exciting folks. We might have Mr. Brendan Culkin, another local restaurateur, on the show. And we got a few interesting ones lined up.
Awesome.
Well, thanks for sticking around this week. See what we're doing next week on the Bandit Room.
We're getting more risque now.
We're
getting more.
We're getting
It's not holding back anymore.
Stepping into new territory. We'll see.
So we offered James.
Uh-huh.
We offered him bourbon. How come you guys didn't offer any drinks to Aubrey?
We did ask.
Oh, they
you
did
did?
ask.
Okay.
She said
Yeah.
it she
It's not
tasted
my
like gasoline or something.
Yeah, it's not my favorite, and it's not a special enough occasion to choke it down.
Oh.
So
We may need to expand our collection here then. We already got a complaint about our collection here.
There's a couple bottles of red wine there too. So.
Oh, yeah. There.
But that's also aged in bourbon. So.
Oh, is it?
Mhm.
Oh.
All right.
All right.
Still looking
We'll
for
get
that.
a margarita machine.
Still looking
next
for that
time.
bourbon sponsor out there.
Who was our bourbon sponsor?
We're still looking for a bourbon sponsor if anybody's listening.
Say the name, Charles.
So what do we have? We had Chicken Cock last week. We had Buffalo Trace and Burning Chair. So
okay.
yeah. Anyway, yeah.
Any of those or anybody else who wants
Anybody
to
else? I mean,
just send us
your
bourbon.
stuff. We'll talk about it.
All right, awesome. Well, thank you, Aubrey.
Awesome.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
Bandit Room is a production of Span Enterprises, located in sunny Rock Hill, South Carolina. We've been developing, supporting, and growing successful IRS e-filing and business management solutions since 2010. Go to spanenterprises.com now to learn more. The views and opinions expressed in the Bandit Room are those of the guests and do not necessarily reflect or state the opinions of Span Enterprises. No information should be considered as tax, legal, or other professional advice.